Good morning and welcome to Are You Up Babes? I'm really very honored this morning to be having Melanie Enslin, who is my mother-in-law, with us. And I know many of you know her and cherish her. She is such an incredible person, and it is my privilege and honor to have her on Are You Up Babes? And this morning we're going to be looking at being a house goddess. Yes, a house goddess. And you know, as women we have so many responsibilities as wives, in our home, keeping up our home, being good moms, work, actually having work on the forefront, ministry. And how do we win in all these tasks? So this morning, my mom-in-law is going to give us really valuable, godly advice on how we can win at being a house goddess. What would your advice be to balance being a good wife, managing your house, being a parent, running a job, etc.?
Balancing all that is certainly a challenge. And as with any challenge, we must begin with God. It's very important that we prioritize a quiet time with God when we study His Word, think about His Word and how it applies to our lives, and pray for His help in obeying His commands, heeding His warnings, applying His principles and affirming His promises. And then we seek His guidance in how to prioritize the tasks that we have to do and organize our program so that we can be the best wives, the best mothers and the best servants of God possible. And a very good example was Susanna Wesley, who lived in the 18th century. She was the wife of an Anglican priest. She had 19 children. She was active in the ministry of their parish. She ran Bible studies and she conducted informal services, and she ran a very orderly home. When things became a bit overwhelming, Susanna would pull a chair into a corner, sit down and pull her apron over her bowed head. And her children all knew that when this happened, Mom was praying and was not to be disturbed. So God was fully involved in her busy life. She also had a settled routine, a schedule for everything. And she once said that whenever a new baby arrived, the baby had to learn to adjust and fit in with the family's routine from the beginning, not the other way around. So her children all grew up with order. And part of Susanna's routine was to spend some quality time with each child every week, bonding with that child and leading and guiding them in God's way. That was part of her schedule. And every one of her children grew up to be committed Christians. Two of them, John and Charles Wesley, became ministers of the gospel and spearheaded a huge revival of Christianity in 18th century England. 1 Corinthians 14 and verse 40 tells us that everything must be done in a fitting and orderly way. Our God is a God of order. And as children of God, we must strive to reflect the order of our Heavenly Father. When it comes to running our home, the only way to do it is to identify and prioritize our responsibilities and chores, and then organize a schedule that will ensure that we block off some time for God, some time for our spouse, some time for our children, and some time for getting the household chores done over and above the job that we are paid to do by our employer. There really is no other way to achieve some balance in managing all our responsibilities. We have to plan our lives, and we plan with schedules. Someone famously once said, "To fail to plan is to plan to fail."